Hello and welcome to episode 16 of the Portadown Preview Show. I'm Neil, and alongside me as always, I'm joined by Dave Wiggins. Dave, how are you?
Doing very well, thank you. Yeah, doing great. My week's going all right. Yeah, missing a bit of football. There hasn't been any for a while.
Yeah, it feels like it's been a while since we've actually done one of these shows, so we may get cracking.
Here, before you do that, while it's in my head, I want to give a wee shout out to Portadown kit manager Jason Hall. He had a wee spell in hospital there recently, and he's kind of recovering. So get well soon, Hall ball.
Yes, indeed. Hope everything's okay, Jason, and we're thinking of you. We're delighted to be joined this week by Chris Sherrard. Chris was here on the second show, which was 14 shows ago now. Feels like a lifetime. You joined us when we became an internet meme after getting beat by Warrenpoint in January. Right. So Chris works for Reach and is the top man, I'm led to believe, and they cover a variety of newspapers and online websites here. And Chris is also a Portadown fan. Chris, how are you keeping?
I'm good, but I'm glad you didn't have me on over the last couple of weeks because I was in bad form after, the Irish Cup exit and the heavy defeat against those who I shan't name last time we played. So I'm glad I'm still smarting from those, I have to say. So it's a good job I wasn't on over the last couple of weeks.
Well, I'm afraid we're just going to have to dive straight into it because unfortunately, it's a show where we're going to have to talk about two Portadown defeats, but it feel like a lifetime ago. So we'll maybe just talk briefly about them. Well, Chris, we'll start with you then. Obviously, since we're last on the show, we've played Warrenpoint at home and then Glenavon away, and unfortunately against Warrenpoint we got beat 2-1. I think Warrenpoint kind of outsmarted us on the day. What did you make of the game?
Yeah, exactly as you said it. I thought they were just too savvy for us, really. It's been a bit of a theme, actually, hasn't it? Where we go in front and then pretty quickly give that lead away. And then you're sort of, all the momentum that you get and all that, feel-good factor that you get from scoring a goals all obviously just dissipates, and then you're back on the back foot. We've sort of, that's the feeling I've had of late, where we just feel like you just need to hold on to this lead for longer than 5-10 minutes here and then we'll be okay, but we don't tend to give ourselves a proper shot once we go in front. It was the same. Warrenpoint was like that. The Glenavon game was like that, where we just sort of, let's just see it through here a wee bit longer and be a bit more smart about things. So it's been frustrating, and even I think it comes, you could even throw in the Ballymena game as well, the Irish Cup game, where I was really disappointed by that, I have to say, because I thought, could we do something in the Irish Cup here? Momentum was with us. We came into that on the back of a couple of back-to-back wins. We were playing well. We'd sort of won 4 out of 5, and we were playing some good football at the time. I was thinking, Irish Cup, you never know then. It's all going to be in a short space of time, and a time where we were starting to hit a bit of form. And then we went out really insipidly and we went out without a fight, really, and it was disappointing like that. And then I think the players looked like that was still in their systems against Warrenpoint, and then again a frustrating defeat in the end, and then that went into the Glenavon game where, to be honest, I thought I was really I'm going to use the word angry because I was angry about the performance on the night. I thought the lads just didn't show the fight that you need to show in a derby game, and it hasn't been like them this season in the derby games. Obviously they've put up some good performances in them, but that last one was really frustrating. So it's been a bit, how would you put it? It's been a difficult couple of weeks, I think, for the boys, and I don't think they've helped themselves at times either. But this Saturday hopefully gives them a chance to put that out of the system now and finish the season with a bit of momentum and with their tails up, which obviously, as we know, will feed into the next season then.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't echo your sentiments anymore. You're 100% right on the money there. I think the last couple of weeks have been very frustrating because I think the Warrenpoint game in particular, had we won that, you're probably nailed on to get 9th place. And now you're talking realistically, it's probably going to be 10th place. I think even 9th, I know it's like 9th, 10th or something much difference, but I think had it been like a single figure position, said it before, at the start of the season would have put your hand up for 10th, but they have got 9th. I think would have make a statement, and we still can, obviously. But I agree with you. Like the Warrenpoint game, for me was more frustrating than the Glenavon game. The Glenavon game was just it was poor, but like realistically, like Glenavon, they have something to play for. We kind of, I know we do, like, but in those sort of terms, we don't really.
Well, I know it's Derby game. You can't accept it, can you? You know, that's what you're playing for. You can't accept any poor down team not turning up or putting up a bit of a fight against Glenavon. We didn't. We just rolled over, and it was so infuriating on the night.
Yeah, no, we were poor, and if it hadn't been for Jacob Carney, we would have been hit double figures. Yeah. But the Warrenpoint game was a chance where, you know, I felt like we could have made a wee statement there, like, because Glenavon are miles ahead of us at the minute, but Warrenpoint are like we're neck and neck with them. But yeah, the Glenavon game.
We have been recently, but you know, one of the oldest sayings, isn't it, in football, that the league table doesn't lie. Realistically, we have only been better over the course of the season. We've only been better than 2 teams. You would say Carrick and Dungannon, and even Carrick would dispute it given how they've put it up to us on those days. But over the course of the season, I think it's fair to say we've been better than both of those teams. But have we been better than Warrenpoint over the course of the season? I think that's doubtful, really. So we are where we deserve to be, I think, in the end.
Yeah, I think we are too. And I think overall, when we get to the end of the season and look back, I think most people will be fairly satisfied with a 10th place finish. It's just that we tinkered and around the 9th there for a couple of weeks and got into 9th. So it'll be disappointing that we did let go of that. But Chris, like you said, after Ballymena away in the cup, I went home that night with the distinct feeling that the season was over. So, you know, players are human as well and support, you know. So I imagine that even though it's not supposed to be in your head, or you're definitely not going to admit that it's in your head, that mentality creeps in because, you know, there really wasn't anything else to play for. You know, we'll probably finish 10th. At a push, we could still finish 9th, but I couldn't see it now. But as soon as you're knocked out of the cup, you're sitting in 9th, 10th place. You know, and you go to yourself, okay, there's 3 matches left here. There's not much else to play for there, really. The Glenavon one peeved me off because it was a derby. Neil, you said they're pushing to try and secure that European playoff place, so they were definitely far more up for it than us. It was obvious. Of course, Lee Bonus, as he does, gave us a little bit of hope. Scores a cracking goal. Great goal. I don't know. I think the keeper just maybe wasn't expecting him to hit it as early as he did. But that's, you know, Glenavon were playing quite well, probably dominated the first half, but then we get a goal like that and you think, okay, we're about to go in half-time here, it's 1-0, and then flip me, within a minute Glenavon go up and get the equaliser and you're back level, you know. So it could all have been very different, I feel, if we'd have gone in 1-0 at half-time, but Glenavon's second half came out and just, yeah, they were passing and moving, took their chances.
So that's what I mean. That's what I mean about game management. I think that's one of the things we need to work on, obviously, because, you know, once you go in front, that's hard. It's hard to get your nose in front in a game, obviously, especially against a team that's, as you say, pushing for something. But once you do that, you need to then manage the next 5-10 minutes of the game to try and ensure that you've got a foothold.
And we only had to manage 1 minute, maybe 2, because it was literally on the blow. See, really, we should have been going in there 1-0 up at half time, and you know, and then you can do, maybe Tippy can make a change there to be more defensive or whatever it is. But I think when you look at the Glenavon matches overall, I'm going to say it, you know, we say we're only as good as their last Mid-Ulster derby, and of course I got that video sent to me numerous times that night too. But listen, we beat them 10-8 in aggregate. So when you look back over the 4 matches, we're not happy, but you have to be satisfied that we pumped them, 4-2 first game of the season. We'll pump them 4-1 at Shamrock Park. You know, I think overall, did we think we were going to pump them twice this season, newly promoted? I didn't think we were going to. So when you look back, and I suppose we'll do a review show at some stage, but I think when we look back, we'll feel okay. We've had 2 good wins against Glenavon this season, but the nature of the defeat the other night was pretty whimsical, you know.
But
I'll say it, with nothing to play for, and when you're out of the Irish Cup and you're sitting in 10th place, I would feel hard to get I feel it's more difficult to get motivated to watch it. So it's to turn up and play in those matches. You know, the manager will say the right thing, that the players should be up for it, and the players will say we're up for it. But I think the mentality is, if we're all being honest, the season was petering out at that stage. And Neil, we were saying there, because there's now 10 days between matches instead of 3 days, it sort of feels like it's trickling slowly towards the end.
It is. It's a strange one, because like, even I know obviously they've integrated the Irish Cup into this, but like, I kind of don't understand the logic of some of it, because so you've got the Irish Cup semi-finals next Tuesday, and then you have the final on the Friday night, but there's no league games on the Saturday. It doesn't make sense to me. It's a strange one. Like, why not? Do you know what I mean? Like, why not just have those games on the Saturday anyway? So I don't get the logic of it, to be honest with you. It does feel like, you know, after playing so long, Saturday, Tuesday, that suddenly, we played 10 days ago, and then suddenly we've got a game on Saturday, and then, you know, play for another 10 days after that. It feels strange, because, as I said, I was so used to you're playing twice a week, but it does feel like it's petering out of it. But we do have the opportunity on Saturday here, because if we avoid defeat, but I want to win, obviously, like, we can't be caught by Carrick, or like we secure 10th, and you don't want to be going into the last couple of games looking over your shoulder and thinking, flip, we could end up finishing 11th. You don't want that, because then after the highs of a few weeks ago, it would end the season on a massive low. So it's imperative we beat Carrick on Saturday. I won't accept anything but a win.
I think we need to be careful what we say here, Neil, because as we know, Niall and Keelan Loughran like to watch this podcast before Portadown matches, so we just need to be careful we don't hype it up too much. But
well, they're heavy favourites for the game, aren't they? That's what we have to say. Like, they should be comfortable on the day. Yeah.
Easily. But do you know what I will say though is they get knocked out of the cup on Tuesday night, so the mentality for them now is their season's over as well. So I think it'll be an end of season game. Who knows what will happen? I'd love us to win, obviously, but I would definitely love us to win. Yeah. Now, you know, I don't want to go back to Carrick beating us after we've kind of got that offer back earlier in the season there. So
yeah, there's also that element, as Neil says, like, you know, psychologically, you don't want to. Nobody wanted to finish bottom, obviously, but second bottom in normal times would have left you in a playoff, wouldn't it, for relegation? So, you know, psychologically, if you can finish above those two positions, and you know, that compared to considering where we were and what we're up against, I think you put that down as a decent season, then a decent building block then for next season. I think it's a psychological thing as much as anything now they're playing for.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I couldn't agree any more with you there. Like, but I think if we got a win on Saturday here, it would put us in good stead. Because, as you say, it would 10th place would be in the bank, and it wouldn't get any nonsense from that lot down the road. It'd be like, oh, you're only in the Premiership because there was no relegation, all that garbage. Like, so, it's imperative Portadown win on Saturday. So, but I think we'll not look back anymore at the war. We'll look ahead.
Hello, Neil. You had your big commentary debut for the Warrenpoint match. Talk us through that. Who were you with?
I got a last-minute call-up off the substitute bench, so I was with the legendary Richard Clark.
Nice.
And I had a lot of fun. I apologise to anyone that was watching that day that I may have sent to sleep. But no,
I'm sure you did well.
I have to say I had a great experience, and I was really chuffed to have been asked to do it. And it's just a pity we could beat, but yeah, it was great being with Richard, and his knowledge of the game is second to none. Like, so has
your good friend Michael Clark given you the call up for any of these Irish Cup semi-finals or anything yet for Coke Bombs?
Not yet. But no, funny. I actually, it was on the way down, and I'd contacted him and was like, here, guess what? And he's like, what? And I was like, I'm doing commentary today. And he's like, oh, brilliant, no, blah, blah, blah. Like, and he was giving me tips.
You have gone all big time, haven't you? You're like Gary Neville and Jimmy Carragher are Portadown.
Yeah, big time in the metropolis of Portadown. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, so no, it was great crack, but unfortunately, Portadown didn't get the win, but it was good fun all the same, and I appreciated the opportunity. But look, as I said, we've looked at the past, we looked at the future. Dave, there's a lot of work going on at the club at the minute, regards the pitch and the social club and whatnot. So can you update us with that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's no work going on with the pitch just yet, but I think basically, there's a lot of things to talk about, isn't there? First of all, I think we should mention that George Tipton and Lee Bonus have been over at Burnley on like a trial type of thing in the last week, and I suppose that's just rewards for them being young lads and having a pretty good season. So I hope those guys have got on well there. I haven't heard a whole lot about it other than they've got on pretty well. So that's whatever. I mean, obviously Burnley are an English Premier League professional team, so just a chance to go over there and be involved and train, and I think they maybe played a match of some description. To be involved in that and get a chance to do that is a really good experience for those guys, regardless of what may or may not come of it. And then obviously this week we've had there's a lot going on. Tippy's got a new 5-year deal, full-time deal. I know there's a bit of a restructure at sort of academy level and the older age group of the youth setup. I think that's going to be announced in the next couple of weeks, where there's going to be somebody over that stuff, like an academy director type of thing, and that's probably then tied in with Tippy getting a 5-year contract full time as well. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes there, probably that people don't get to see, and we only pick up snippets of it and hear little bits and pieces about it. But I think the board of directors are to be commended really for, I think I was just hearing this week, Cliftonville's manager, like he's out of contract in the next 2 weeks here. So, he's coming towards the end of the season not knowing what's happening, whereas Tippy's coming to the end of the season knowing that with potential changes to the stadium, with the new youth structures, he's got a good solid 5 years here. And I have no doubt that he will help to develop Portadown Football Club as a whole, on and off the pitch, to take us into the next 5 years. And I think it's just rewards for him. He's living in a country that's not his own. His wife's over here, his children are over here. So, he's been a good servant to Portadown down the years. I'm not talking about for years and years, but as a player, he did well for us. And to me, he should have got the job whenever Ronnie McFall left. Instead of all the rest of the.
You're doing the Carrick team talk here, you know that?
Yeah, but I just think it's he should have been brought in at that stage. So for him now to be rewarded with a 5-year contract and have the opportunity to really get his teeth stuck in to bring in Portadown forward and developing us as a club is brilliant. I think other contracts, I think Tiernan Lynch got a 1-year extension on his contract recently, and I really raised my eyes at that, thinking, what does that say to a manager? That says to a manager, we're not sure you're doing a great job here, but if you do okay this year, maybe you'll get another. So to say to a manager, you're doing well, we're happy with the progress, this is yours for the next 5 years, what are you going to do with it? Make the best of it. And I'm excited by that, and I think it's just reward for him and his coaches and the Tipton family as well. It probably gives a certain amount of security there. So so well done, Matthew, and we'll look forward to the next 5 years.
Well, it shows two things, doesn't it? It shows stability and it shows ambition, really, doesn't it? So it shows the ambition of the club to kick on and try and have a strong future, and not just look for the here and now, the quick wins. Try and get something that's going to be ambitious long term. Now we might not feel the return immediately, but as long as there's a plan in place. But what that also does is it gives the club stability, doesn't it? It gives everyone around the club stability, because they know who's leading it.
Yeah, and with our players, our players are far from peaking. They're 19, 20, 21. So say 3 or 4 years time, they're coming into 24, 25 years old. The same people are working with those guys, bringing them forward, and hopefully everything can peak on and off the pitch, so I think Portadown fans need to be patient, and in 4 or 5 years we will see the success of exactly what you've said there, stability, and I really look forward to that. And with that, when the stadium money comes out here next year, and hopefully Portadown get a good cut of that and develop the stadium so that we are moving forward to where we need to be. I know on the forum a couple of people were gurning and asking questions. I was mostly Glenavon fans, to be honest, asking why Tippy had got a full-time contract. But that, running forward. Yeah, we're a part-time club with a full-time manager, and I know Matthew was basically working for Portadown full-time on a part-time wage, so Ronnie McFall was a full-time manager, Gary Hamilton's a full-time manager, so I'm sure there's
But it goes beyond that, doesn't it? Look at the league now. Look how many teams are full-time players, full-time setups. That's why the standard of the entire league's gone up so high, and it's such a difficult division to compete in now because you're competing against full-time players. So you have to at least show some intent to compete with that at some level. Otherwise, you're going to be left behind. And I think that's what the club have done by showing that commitment.
Yeah, I think in terms of by the time and effort that someone puts into a job, you're almost proving yourself before you're given the full-time contract. So if you're a part-time manager, but you spend half your day on the phone trying to talk to players, or you're doing extra training sessions for your loanee players who are over from England, or you're doing this, that, and the other, it's absolutely well deserved as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and if it cultivates a pipeline of strong talent coming through from the youth setup into the first team, then that's the best result that you could hope for. Because look at Lee Bonus leading the line for us, Luke Wilson captaining us. Boys like that, there's nothing gives you more pride or more enjoyment than seeing those sort of boys coming through the whole system and then leading the first team. And if we can get more of that coming through, and I'm no doubt that we will if Tippy's getting involved in that side of the club as much as he possibly can, then that bodes well for the future, and knowing that there's going to be a strong pipeline in place.
Yeah, and even there's other players sort of coming through. They've been dripped into the last 10 or 15 minutes in the last few matches, like Zach Cowan and others. Oisin Connolly has been getting more of a run this season. All local lads, very young. Being patient and being given their opportunity when they come. So, it's exciting as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
One of the things that I loved during this week was I saw the pictures on Portadown's Twitter of the Portadown youth team, only young kids, and Tippy was there taking a session. I thought that was class. Like, I really thought that was class. And even Potsy, who'd been on the show a while ago, even he said about it. He's like, "Here, I saw Tippy out coaching kids." He's like, "That's amazing." And I was like, "No, it is. They're really planning for the long term here." Like, so I was really impressed by that.
Yeah, that's what you want to see. That's what I mean. It means he can get more involved in the roots of the club and trying to, again, it's not going to be, you're not going to feel the return of that immediately, but what you're doing is you're planting seeds, aren't you? And you're going to feel that, start to bloom in the coming years. And just seeing that this season is the best part of the season, I have to say, seeing not just Lee banging in the goals in the top division, but seeing some of those young lads getting a run out in the Irish League. And get showing that if they're good enough, they'll get a chance at this club, and that's so encouraging for the next generation to know that stick with this, produce the goods, and you'll get an opportunity to go and play against the big boys and get to show what you're capable of.
Yeah, I think there's another side of it too, which is the whole community side of it, Chris, where if Matthew's around Portadown a little bit more than usual, then if he's going into a coffee shop, or he's popping in for lunch somewhere and he's having meetings here and there, or if he has more of an opportunity to pop into a school here or there, or a youth group, or whatever it is, it's with Shamrock Park just being opened 20 Saturday afternoons a year, it's bringing the club towards the community again. And I know we do that in a lot of ways, through the youth and through the ladies and other things that go on. And I know there's links between the youth and Portadown YMCA, for example, which are really good. But I think if if Matthew now has the time and availability to be able to do that and to be seen around businesses in town and to be seen in different community groups and that, it all it can do is show positivity and maybe attract, which we're always trying to do, is attract someone new to Shamrock Park or a family or, I think that all helps. New sponsors, all of that is really important.
It can only help, and getting into the schools is going to be so important if he's able to do that and go and not just try and see if there's talent there for the youth setup, but attract more of the boys to come and actually support their local team and watch the matches. And it can only be a good thing.
Yeah. We talked enough about that, Neil?
Yeah, more than enough. You've covered every blade of grass there, Yeah, no, listen, again, you're right on the money there. No, I think Portadown are an upward trajectory here, and it can only benefit the club in the long run. Stability, which is something, which is a word that wasn't often thrown around at Portadown a few years ago, so it's actually good that there is a bit of stability now.
But it's, we've had patience this season, obviously, first season back, and there's no relegation. So you could almost say it's been easy to, pressure's been off this season. Next season, they'll tell a tale. We need to maintain that patience, and we need to keep the heads really next season as well, and believe in the project, for want of a better phrase, really, don't we? We need to know that there's something happening, and it'll come. It might not come immediately, but it'll come if we all believe in it and pull together in it. So next season is going to be important that everybody's on the same page there, I think.
Yeah, I've already got 2 eyes on next season. I just think now, with a couple of games to go, I just want this season to be over. Let's get up to the caravan, let's get up to the beach and enjoy ourselves for a month, but let's get the friendlies started and let's get next season underway as soon as possible, because it's going to really test us to see where we're at,
Well, it is, and the bar's going to rise again, isn't it, if you look at it, because not just the full-time teams who we all know, Linfield are going to go and strengthen, we're fishing in a different pool to those sort of clubs, but they're full-time, they're going to strengthen. But even in the relegation group, Glenavon they've got Waterworth coming, haven't they? So, that's going to be, that just shows you what you're up against. I think the fact that teams who aren't full-time are strengthening with players of that caliber, and it's going to be the same. There's talk of Warrenpoint wanting to heavily strengthen as well. So we really, we're going to be up against it. It's going to be, that's why I say it's going to need patience again, and it's going to need that pipeline to start to produce as well.
Yeah.
Chris, was that a Daily Mirror exclusive there that Andy Waterworth is going to Glenavon?
Is the big secret out of the bag? I think it was out of the bag this week, was it not?
I think
I heard it a while ago. I got told a while ago it was happening.
I've heard a while ago, yeah, but I saw it printed somewhere, so I don't think I'm displaying any confidence, is there?
No, I saw it in print this week for the first time as well. The big Glenavon secret, I hear he doesn't really want to play for Glenavon. I hear he's told Gary he just wants to play 15 or 20 minutes here or there, so that'll do for me.
Right, yeah. Well, imagine though, with some coup, you have to say, and it definitely sticks in the craw, doesn't it? The fact that they're getting players of that caliber, because it's only going to strengthen them, really, isn't it? So let's hope we've got some gems up our sleeve to unearth.
Yeah, so basically, Burnley Football Club, if you're listening to this, you're not getting our players.
Or send us some of yours, yeah.
Yeah, we'll take a couple of years. Neil.
Yes.
You're looking very fashionable this evening, it has to be said. That is probably, I haven't seen a shirt as baggy on you this season. They're usually wee skin tight ones.
Yeah, so this is
all I'm seeing is Vinnie Arkins, like.
Yeah, I wish it was as good as Vinnie Arkins. Yeah, I don't know how players back then played in these shirts. That's wild.
They had muscles on their arms, mate.
It was easy for grappling in the box, wasn't it? Pull the shirt and sneaky pulls of the shirt.
Well, this is true. So this is actually a player's edition shirt. So if my memory serves me correctly, my dad had actually sponsored, back in the day, to get the replica shirts of this year, you had to sponsor the player's shirt. And my dad sponsored Raymond Byrne for the season. But
is that his?
It's even got Smirnoff on it. Yeah, well, there's a story to this. So I remember my dad sponsored Raymond Byrne, but ended up getting David Irwin's shirt. So this has got the number 15 in the back. Shit.
Oh, very good.
No name on it.
What a player he was, by the way, David Irwin. What a player, cracker.
Yeah, I know. Portadown boy. Grew up playing with Dave in the BB. I never got to take
Yeah.
a free. I never got to take a shot, a free kick, or a corner yet because his dad was the manager of the BB team. So it was always like, let our David take that. Let our David take that.
I remember watching him playing for the BB. You're probably playing too, Dave. But apologies, you didn't stand out in my mind.
I wouldn't have. No, I wouldn't
remember
have.
That's because he was on the bench.
Probably 100%. That's where I love playing.
He did so well, didn't he, when he got into the first team? Boys like that, and Philip Craig. Do you remember Philip Craig playing? Great at the back for us as well. It's so good. That's what I said earlier. It's so good to see boys like that getting a chance.
I remember Dee telling me that Ronnie McFall brought him into the office one day and gave him an absolute bollocking. And I was like, well, I thought you were doing pretty well. He says, I mustn't be trying hard enough. I hadn't got booked all season. There you go.
He wasn't that type of player, was he?
No, definitely not. He was just a finisher.
Yeah, too silky.
So whenever I was in first year at school, he actually was a teacher at my school for 1 year. But I remember, like, I remember going back home and being like, Dad, the Portadown player, David Irwin, like, he's a teacher at my school. And Dad's like, no, he's not. And I was like, no, actually, it's David Irwin. It's him. Sort of looking at like starstruck. This, but
that's like when I was in Belfast there a few weeks ago, or it must have been a few months ago now, when shops were open. But you know, there's a Specsavers at Victoria Square. I was walking past there and then did a double take. Conor McGrandless was checking somebody's eyes out, and I was like, well, there's Conor. Very good. I didn't know he was an optician at all, but just shows you.
Very good. Didn't know that either. Why we are talking about strikers, I suppose we got word this week that Lee Bonus have been nominated for the Football Writers Young Player of the Year, which is a very honourable nomination for him, which is brilliant. Like, you know, I think it shows that he hasn't just taken the eye of Portadown supporters. He's probably taken the eye of most supporters and managers and other players in the league this season, because I suppose to their mind, he's come from nowhere to scoring 13 goals in his first season in the top flight. So congratulations to Lee, and well deserved in that nomination. Deserved, yeah.
Fully deserved, doesn't it? You know, he's has the Burnley recognition as well, getting a chance to go over there and show what you can do. Whatever comes of that, it's still a great honour for him to go and do it. But you know, he's hit a groove now, hasn't he? He's hit a groove. You know he's going to be pretty close to scoring a goal for you in each game, and also as we knew anyway, having watched him since he joined the team, like his commitment. You know, I love nothing more than seeing him flying in. And remember, a lot of reputations he's trodden on this season, hasn't he? You know, and he's put it up to some of those big clubs, and that's exactly what you should be doing, because he's earned the right to be in this league and play at this level, and he's proven himself to be more than capable of playing at this level. And I think it's only the start of something great for him, playing in the Irish League. And 13 goals is great, but I think there's so much more in him as well, and I think he'll probably know that, and he'll have his confidence will be even higher coming into next season as well, which would be good.
I think when you look at, I think my favourite goal was the recent one. Obviously, it was in injury time against Larne at home. Sorry, Larne, the Christmas champions at home.
That's why they've offered Tiernan a contract extension, because they won the league at Christmas. Come on, Dave.
That just rewards. But you know, I think for his goal, you know, you had Soulé and Randall there, and he got in between them. He bullied Soulé. He got in. Randall made the mistake. He took the ball off him and stuck it in the corner. And I loved that, because that's everything about him. He just loves it, doesn't he? He loves
you commentated that, didn't you? I remember, was it you commentated
on that? Oh, I haven't.
Your reaction was suitably thematic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I had to get excited for that one.
Good. Yeah.
I didn't stand up though. I was like.
Yeah, he's
you're talking there about incentives. Obviously, like, Lee's obviously got recognition. Burnley are sniffing around him or whatnot. He's going to want to make his mark here between now and the end of the season, because he is up for that award, and his incentives there that basically if he doesn't score, I'm on the blower to him, being like, yo, I need my fantasy points here, Lee. Come on.
I'd love to see him getting at least another 2 goals to take him to that 15. I think that would be. And here, have you given Jacob Carney his 50 quid yet, Neil?
Not yet, no.
That's
I haven't
poor.
seen him.
I'm not let. Well, have you never heard of PayPal?
I'll ask him for his bank details, sure.
That's okay.
You don't worry about him a word. It'll
Mate,
happen.
there's no way you're squirming out of that, like.
Here, listen, it's probably the best. Well, bar the Lauren game now, it's probably the best result of the season. Like, so it was worth it. Well, here, listen. I don't really think. I think we've pretty much covered everything, haven't we?
I would say so, yeah.
I think so. And as I said, we've only got one game to look forward to this week, and then it's another what feels like a sabbatical for like a week or so before we'll be back again. So fingers crossed for 3 points on Saturday against Carrick Rangers here in the battle for 10th place. Before we go, I will say don't forget to like and subscribe to the We Are Reports TV YouTube channel and Spotify. And Chris, thank you very much for coming on the show. And I would like to think you'll be back on the show next season. And there'll be four more shows because we're going to have it all season. Well, if I haven't been cut off by then, that is like so.
Thanks for having me on, lads. Again, much appreciated. It's good crack.
Very welcome. And Dave, thank you as always.
My pleasure, mate. Thank you for hosting and all of that. I'm producing yet another lovely Portadown top. It's great to see. That's the real reason you're on here. You know that's because we knew you could produce we knew you could produce a different Portadown top every week. Like.
Well, I've been true to my word so far this season. I have done that, but I can't take all the credit here. I have to give my dad, Davy Campbell, credit because a lot of them are his shirts. Because I can't even fit into it now, and I'm 33, so I don't think I could fit into it back when I was 12, 11 when this shirt were wearing this.
Neil, so. I'm gonna give you and Chris and all of our listeners a little snippet of information. If you've listened to this right to the end, I'm going to tell you this. I'm pretty sure the Portadown away top's going to be yellow next season.
Yes.
Good night, everyone. Good night, everyone. Good night, everyone.
We'll be there to model it, when it comes out, won't we, Dave?
No chance.
We have pushed this from day one. This is happening. I will not let this go.
Right. Good to see you, lads.
Right.
Cheers. Thank you.